Okay. So the story I'm about to tell you is called Kaguya Hime.
Okay.
I think it's Kaguya-Hime. Hime. M-E. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's how you would spell it in English.
Okay.
I'm not sure. You can look it up later, but
Yep.
it's a pretty famous one in Japan. Most people in Japan would know it. I heard it first. Well, it's just this fairy tale that all Japanese children hear about, but more recently, it was produced as a animation film, and which is why it comes to my mind first. And I watched it about last year during the summer while I was in China with a couple of friends. So the context of the story is there's an old couple, old age, about like 60, 70 years old, living in the woods. They're not very rich, they're pretty poor, and how they make money is the old man goes out to the bamboo woods in his backyard and cuts bamboo trees, and he sells the bamboo shoots for a living. But one day when he goes to the bamboo woods to do his normal cutting, he sees this one bamboo shoot that is seems to have something shining from inside it. It's like it stands out in the woods, and it's something bright and shiny is inside it. So he decides to cut it down to see what's inside, and when he does cut it down, it reveals a little baby girl inside, and she's all shining and radiant. And so the old man takes her home and takes care of her with his wife, and eventually the years pass, and she grows. She was raised by these two old people, and she grows up to be both beautiful in looks and character, a young woman. And ever since then, when the bamboo cutter goes back to the bamboo woods to cut down bamboo shoots, every time he would cut down bamboo, there'd be gold coins inside. So eventually, the three of them become pretty rich, and a lot of people start to notice this young woman's beauty, and a lot of people want to ask for her hand in marriage, including some very important people in Japan. At the time, it would be like sons of very noble lords, or and 5 of them in particular. I forgot their positions, but very important people in Japan. They come together to ask for her hand in marriage. But this woman, her name is, by the way, Kaguya Hime, which means, like, I'll look it up later, but it's princess of something. But she doesn't want to get married yet, so she sets them off she assigns each of them a task, which is impossible to complete, and if they complete it, she will marry them. It's somewhat like for example, one of them is to find some kind of sacred branch in India, and obviously that itself was a folklore, I think, at the time. It may have been, may have not been, but it's obviously mythical, so they're not going to find it. It's like an impossible task. And yeah, the five very high status people. Her father, though, has changed a bit. He's grown a bit greedy, both in money and power, so he wants his daughter to marry one of these 5 famous people, because he's kind of wants the power. And if she marries one of these people, their family name will be much higher. And back then, family name was a very important concept in Japan. But yeah, none of the 5 are able to complete the task. Some of them tried to like make fake, like one of the tasks I think was to go to China and get this mythical statue of a Buddha, but obviously it doesn't exist. So he tries to make a fake one, but he was unsuccessful in trying to fool her. So eventually, so those 5 fail, and eventually the Emperor of Japan takes an interest in her and decides to come visit. But she politely declines him. I think from here on, there are different versions of the story. But the latest version I've heard is, I'm not sure if it's the most popular one, but so one night while she's staying in the house, now rich house because the bamboo cutter is now, her father, the bamboo cutter, is now very rich from cutting down the bamboo shoots and getting all the gold coins. So the moon, beforehand, actually, sorry, I'm kind of messing up the chronological order, but the Kaguya Hime was kind of found like looking at the moon a lot and kind of being reminiscent about that, and they find out why that night when so the moon was really big on that one night, and Kaguya Hime tells her parents that she has to go back to the moon. They're like, what? But that night, this I'm not sure how to call it, but the people who are, well, her people come to get her. Her people are the moon people, and they send like I don't know what you call it, like an envoyage or something. Well, they send many people down, including her actual parents from the moon, down to Earth. And they come in like big carriages, and like depending on the story, it differs a lot. But they come down to Earth, and yeah, apparently the gold coins that the bamboo cutter was finding in the shoots were to pay for her temporary stay in Japan on Earth. And why she was there in the first place, it kind of differs from story to story, but yeah, eventually Kaguya Hime has to leave the bamboo cutter, and she goes back to the moon. And again, there are like different endings to this. I'm not really sure. I forgot how it ends, but yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Thanks.